Welcome. My name is Dolores Hirschman from mastersinclarity.com, and I'm super excited to spend time with you today talking about ideas, talking about TEDx, and talking about how you, the change maker, can bring your ideas to a larger audience. We're going to spend some time also talking about why your idea needs to be out there and shared to larger stages. And we're going to talk about what it would take for you to do that. So without further ado, I'm going to start the presentation. In our agenda for today, I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about me and how I got to be doing the work that I do today. Then I'll jump right into what you are here to learn, which is strategies to clarify your idea worth sharing and land a TEDx stage. As promised in the invitation, I will also give you the chance to ask questions. And if I don't get to answer your question, don't worry. Put it in the chat and I will get to you by email later after the webinar. So let's start at the beginning. As I said, my name is Dolores Hirschman. I'm originally from Argentina. That's where my accent is from. And I live in Massachusetts, New England, with my 4 children and my husband. And so I have spent most of my life living in what people would call the edge of the comfort zone. I have literally, as I was preparing for this presentation, I was trying to think of some pictures or put some pictures that will give you an idea of how I got to be doing the work that I am doing today. And I wanted to start with a little story about the picture on the far left, which is me inside of a well in insular Malaysia in Sabah, where I spent 3 months living in the jungle doing community work. And I remember at that time when I presented the idea to my parents, they were not so sure about what I wanted to do and why I was going to do it. And it was a little bit one of those things that I knew I needed to put myself through a process where I would challenge myself both physically and mentally just to get to the next stage of my growth. My parents said yes, but honestly, I don't think they supported it that much. You see, as much as I don't like discomfort more than you do, I cherish the growth that happens when I challenge myself, when I move beyond what I think is possible. This spirit has been a characteristic of mine for all of my life. And though, as I said, my parents did not have much appreciation for it, it has served me really well. And so that brings me to the next stage, which is this spirit of can do and, why not, has been driving me all my life. And when in 2012, I was looking to engage our community in a conversation of hope and possibility, I posed myself the question, how could I bring the TED-like experience to our community? As a TED Talk fan, which I'm sure most of you guys are, I knew there was an opportunity to bring this kind of conversation to our larger community in a live event. That's what led me in 2012 to apply to host an event for 100 people, a small initial license. And it was the experience of that small event that hooked me into the whole TED culture and TED framework of speaking. Since then, I've been involved with the organization. I have become a larger license holder, and I currently host one of the largest events in New England. It's 1,200 people, and it happens in New Bedford, Massachusetts, which is between Providence, Rhode Island, and Boston, Massachusetts. So putting together this first event allowed me to understand the importance of helping change makers and ideapreneurs bring their ideas into these kinds of stages, not just for the impact that they would have with our community, but also for the possibility of impact that they could have once their videos were out online. I've now worked with hundreds of people through the last 5 years, helping them get through this process. So in the picture there, the book that I'm holding in the picture is a book that you probably downloaded when you registered for this webinar, 18 Minutes of Impact, How to Move Your Audience the TED Way. And the last two pictures are from my 2016 event where we hosted 16 speakers on an all-day event for 1,200 people. So one of the things that this spirit has led me is it has led me in many adventures, which have brought me a lot of challenges, but also consistent growth. In the last 20 years, I've started and pitched over 5 companies. I've gone back to school to study coaching. I've coached over 50 speakers on the TEDx format just in the last 12 months. I've written 2 books, one of which is a novel available on Amazon, and the other one is the 18 Minutes of Impact. I've organized 3 TEDx events and have advised in the organization of other events around the world. I have attended 3 official TED conferences in different parts of the world, and I've also worked with over 100 clients and businesses in helping them take their ideas from dreams to successful growing companies. I've also mentored for incubators and startup weekends across the world. And it's partly in the work that I do as an incubator mentor and a judge on startup weekend that it really dawned on me that in many cases, the ideas that get the resources and the following they need is not necessarily the best idea. Sometimes, and many times, an idea that can positively impact the world doesn't get the resources it needs simply because the ideapreneur or the author of the idea doesn't have the skills to communicate it or the clarity to communicate it properly. And it is in the work as a mentor and judge and curator that I truly connected with my calling. With what I'm truly passionate about, and I am passionate about ideas. I am passionate about creating, clarifying, strategizing, and manifesting, making a reality, ideas that have a positive impact in the world. I've used it a few times already, but I have come up with a term called Ideapreneur that I've trademarked. Ideapreneur is an entrepreneur that is not just committed to a project or a business. An ideapreneur is committing to an idea, a philosophy, a way of changing the world. And the how, while it might change with time, the spirit of it never changes. They commit to their ideas 100%. These ideas, in some ways, have hunted them down until they said yes, until they said, I will roll up my sleeves and work to make this idea a reality. So as I was saying, it's in this work as a curator and mentor that I also learned that, what stops an idea from seeing the light of day. And let me tell you a little story. I recently was a judge for a startup weekend here in Massachusetts. And in the final pitch contest where all the teams were presenting their ideas and their business plan, I came to realize that in many situations like this, the winner is not necessarily the best idea. In this particular case, the winner of this contest had a good idea. Yes, they did have a good idea, but it was not the best idea. There was 1 or 2 other ideas that evening that had the potential to have a higher positive impact in our lives. But those ideas did not win. And they did not go to a second round, nor did they receive the resources they needed to move forward. They were not communicated clearly. So I see this all the time in the curating process. When we are choosing TEDx speakers for my event, with over 200 applications for about 15 or 16 slots, volunteer curators need, and in our case, we need to move quickly through the candidates. And many times there are speakers that I can sense that they have a great idea. I can see that they're working in something really interesting, but their application does not clearly state or communicate these ideas. Even when we select them, and by the way, this is a tip for you, when we select them and we conduct a phone or a Skype interview, we typically ask, what is your idea worth sharing? And can you state it in 6 words or a short sentence? So that's a tip for you. If you ever get interviewed, make sure you have your idea stated in 6 words or a short sentence. But what happens is, even for seasoned speakers, when we ask this, I typically get a very long silent pause and sometimes some nervous laughter. And before the person on the other side of the line can actually organize their thoughts and try to state their idea in a clear and concise way. But most of the cases when I ask a question, people go into a story, or they're like, let me tell you about my work, or let me tell you what happened to me when I was 5 years old. But the thing is that it takes a lot of clarity to be brief, to the point, and succinct. So it is because of this that I'm here today. It really is that I'm here today about talking about clarity. I'm in a quest to help ideapreneurs, yes, that's you, get the resources, the platform, and the momentum that they need to have their ideas impact the world. I'm taking a stand for you. You are the change maker. I believe that every idea deserves a platform. And I believe that the opportunity to share it with the world and create an impact makes the difference of an idea staying just as a dream and as a thought versus turning it into something that can impact the world. That is why I help ideapreneurs clarify, craft, and pitch their ideas worth sharing. But for this, I have created a program that holds the ideapreneur's hand and leads them through a process of clarifying, crafting, and pitching their ideas. This program works. Take, for example, Dr. O'Keefe, that you see right there on the slide. Dr. O'Keefe is a well-established cardiologist, and he's an author. He's been ranked America's top doctor, and he came to me because he wanted to bring his idea into the world. I have to say also, he actually had been a TEDx speaker in the past. He had successfully delivered at TEDx a few years ago, and his talk has been viewed over 400,000 times. So he came to me, and at the time I thought, and maybe you're thinking this, you might think, he probably did not need my help, right? But Dr. O'Keefe came to me because he had a new idea he wanted to share with the world, and that it was aligned with his professional background, but it's an idea that is very close to his heart, and that it has the potential to open a conversation about a topic that is critical in the world today. Together, we designed a pitch that would allow him to present his idea to potential events. Within 4 months of working together, not only did he get super clear and committed to his idea, but he also landed at TEDx stage in the fall of 2016. And within 3 months of his talk going live, his talk has now been viewed by over 500,000 people and counting. And it's amazing to me when I look at the comments that people have left under his video, his talk, is how right he was, and how much his conversation was a conversation that needed to happen in today's world. Now, take another example. Take Kim Fuller. So Kim came to me as a speaker for my event for TEDx New Bedford. And she came to me with a personal story, and she wasn't sure how to merge her background as a meditation and mindset teacher, photographer, and her personal story. Together, we crafted a talk that allowed her to showcase a new perspective on a very old idea. And with her work, she not only was able to deliver a beautiful, beautiful, powerful talk, but she also got a standing ovation. So you must be thinking, right, what's the secret? Well, let's get down to it. There's 5 steps or 5 beginning steps that I've identified that will allow you to begin the process of getting closer to your TEDx stage. Step number 1 is clarity. Clarify your idea worth sharing. As I mentioned earlier, clarity in your idea is key to moving your message forward. One exercise I take my clients through is to help them post the question they're looking to answer. Let me give you an example. Many of you are familiar with Simon Sinek's talk, Start With Why. In his talk, Start With Why, Simon is looking to answer the following questions. What is the fastest way to improve the success of individuals and corporations? He answered with the idea behind his talk to encourage leaders to start with why, so that they can inspire others. In his book, Jeremy Donovan explores this concept of what I call the question worth asking. So think about the talk that you want to deliver and take a minute as I go to the next slide, take a minute and write down, take a note. What is the problem or the question where you're looking to answer? For me is, why don't good ideas make it into successful businesses? And so that's why my idea was sharing is to help people clarify their ideas so that they can gain the resources, the following, and the momentum they need to turn their idea into tangible impact in the world. Strategy number 1. Now, strategy number 2, validate. Once you're clear on your idea worth sharing, chances are that you're going to say out loud and you say, well, my idea is not new. All my clients come to me with that question and say, what happens if I don't have a brand new idea? Well, I always say, there's almost no new ideas out there, but there are unique perspectives on old ideas or old issues that we as human beings continually deal with. So the second step after you clarify your idea is to validate it, is to go around and share your idea statement with your colleagues, with your friends, with the people in your world and say, would you come listen to this talk? Is this talk something that is important to you? And the way we present it is important in the sense that we need to present our idea from a unique perspective. So you have to ask yourself, is your idea unique? And then you have to ask yourself, why are you uniquely positioned to speak about this topic? What stories and experiences bring this idea to life? Don't be afraid to test it. And especially if you're a coach, consultant, or other type of service entrepreneur, make sure that your idea is posed in a unique way. You gotta be bold, you gotta stand out. You have to let the organizers, when you start pitching, know why you are the right person to talk about this. Let me also remind you that having a great story does not mean that you have a great talk. Stories are secondary characters of your movie, of your talk. So let's go to step number 3. Now we're going to talk a little bit, not so much about the process of clarifying your idea, but the process of applying to speak. So let me tell you a little bit about what a TEDx event actually is. TEDx events are licenses granted by TED that allows independent organizers from different communities around the world to bring a TED-like experience to their community. Just like I mentioned when I was looking to bring a TED-like experience to my community. These events are organized by volunteers to enrich the places, cities, and towns where they live, so that if you're active in your community, so it's important that if you're active in your community, that you approach organizers and events that they're around your community first, because they're looking to showcase, to put on the stage those people and organizations that are making a difference right there in their backyard. So when you begin the process of finding stages where to speak at, you got to start looking local. Now, if you live in a city, this is easier. There's probably more events around you. If you live in a small town, then start looking around the university campuses or the larger city next to where you live. Let's go to strategy number 4. Strategy number 4, do your research. So you have to do your research and align your talk with the theme. Not all TEDx events have a theme, and they're not all created equal. Before applying to speak, make sure you're clear. Make sure you find out if there is a theme, and make sure you're clear on the theme that the organizers have chosen. Don't force it, but align your idea with the theme if you truly believe that there is a natural match. Not every event, as I said, have a theme, but many do. Also, if you have a message that's specially geared to a particular group of people like youth or women or corporate environment, look for events like TEDx Youth or TEDx Women. Now, that brings us to strategy number 5. Commit. Fall in love with your idea. Your clarity is part of the process, but committing to roll up your sleeves, stretch, and reach beyond your comfort zone in service of your idea is what will take you the distance. That is what, in some ways, curators can smell when someone is looking to stand on a stage just because it's in their bucket list versus standing on a stage for the recognition or for the visibility that their idea needs to move forward. Let me give you a little example. A few years ago, I think it was actually last year, I was backstage of my event. The event was going on. It was an all-day event, and I had one of my speakers who was very, very, very nervous. She was fretting about her hair and her outfit and this and that, and finally I took her aside and I said, look, here's the thing. Your idea deserves that you stand on the stage and deliver. You are the messenger. What you look like or how your hair looks or anything else, it's what might be in your forefront right now, in what you might be thinking about right now. But don't let that stop you from being the messenger you've been chosen to be for your idea. Oh, and by the way, I believe that ideas choose us, and that we always have a choice to say yes or no to an idea. And I suspect that if you're listening to this video, to this webinar, it's because you have said yes to the idea and you have said yes to making this your life's work. Even if sometimes it makes you frustrated, even if sometimes it makes you uncomfortable, even if sometimes you wonder, what did you get into? So commit to your idea. And I think continuing with that, the secret is you gotta commit and connect you have to connect with your passion and become unstoppable in your commitment to bring this idea into the world. Why? Because the world cannot wait. Your idea is bigger than everything else that's stopping you. It's bigger than your fears. It's bigger than your frustration and your doubt. It's bigger than your procrastination. And it's bigger than staying in your comfort zone. So let's review. We have 5 initial steps to approaching a TEDx stage. Step number 1, clarify your idea worth sharing. What is it that you're talking about? And can you share it in 6 words or short sentence? Number 1. Number 2, validate your idea. Why are you uniquely positioned to talk about this? Present yourself as the messenger, the expert, the person who has been given the opportunity to carry this idea into the world. Number 3, as you start looking for events where to apply, begin by looking local. TEDx events are licenses TEDx events are licenses granted by TED to people to host a TED-like experience in their community. So start by making a difference or looking to speak in the community where you are a member of. Number 4, do your research. If the events that you're applying to, if they have a theme, make sure that you align your idea to the theme. And number 5, commit. Now, you must be thinking, I'm not sure why you showed up here today, but you're probably wondering about speaking as a way to move your message forward or even to grow your business. You might be wondering, are you ready for the stage? You might be an author and you want to bring your book and the knowledge of your topic to a larger audience. Or maybe you really want to land at TEDx stage, but you don't know where to start. Or you know what to do, but you don't know how to clearly state your idea. I always say that in order to speak on a TEDx stage, you have to move from talking about what you do to talking about what you stand for. Now, so you're probably wondering, which of these strategies can you implement right now, right? And maybe what has resonated with you, sorry, my English sentence is kind of funny. What has resonated with you is the process of clarifying your idea or the steps to finding the right stage, or maybe even something else I've said. Now, you can take these strategies and figure it out, or you can shorten the learning curve. We all have choices, and we have options on where we put our attention on how we accomplish our goals. If speaking is something you know you need to do to move forward, you can move fast or move slow. If landing at TEDx or a similar event is a priority for you, then the question is, how fast do you want to make this a reality? You know you have a powerful message, and you know you impact the world with your work. One client, one product, maybe even one action at a time. You know this. But how do you communicate? How do you communicate it? How do you find resonance? How do you move forward with this? How do you establish the credibility you need to make an impact? You need a path to clarify and put this clarity into action. TEDx speakers are not uniquely talented. They're intentional. Intentional means they put the effort in what really matters. It's all about clarity paired with strategy. Now what? You have your 5 steps. Now you can go and land at TEDx stage, or you can get some help. Save a lot of time and frustration. Create an application that will land your TEDx stage. That is exactly what I've planned for you, because you, the Ideapreneur, need to get your idea into the world right now. So let me tell you about what working with me looks like. I've put together this program based on the lessons I've learned working with prospect and selected speakers in the last 2 years. I work with these speakers and learn that what works and what doesn't. And I've put it together so that you don't have to make the same mistake as many of my prospect speakers do when they apply to speak. I've broken down the process of clarifying, writing, and pitching so that it is not only doable and easy, it's actually a lot of fun. Together, we will clarify your idea. We will validate it, post it in a way that is new, unique. There are very few new ideas out there, but you are unique. And how do we match your unique perspective with your idea? I will also teach you the elements of a successful talk. We will find the stories, the supporting actors that will help your idea, the main character. You will write your talk and you will get it stage ready. We will also create the elements, abstract, title, bio that you need to successfully pitch your talk to curating teams, producers, and organizers. Hey, it might even shift the copy on your website and become the outline of your new book. Trust me, I've seen it happen. We will also explore the role and use of humor in your talk and how do you create a rapport with your audience. This is the work that I do with my clients, and it not only helps them land and deliver at TEDx, it also affects how they show up in the world, how they communicate their value proposition, and how they play a bigger game. But don't take my word for it.
Dolores is the one who helped me get clear on Activate Your Greatness.
I'm going to play this again.
She was able to see, in helping me with my TED Talk, she was able to see the real essence of what I do. And I'm incredibly grateful. Thank you, Dolores.
That is a great testimonial I got from Fabian Fredrickson. I'm going to actually try to see if I can replay that. Give me 1 second. So let me just replay that. I'm going to share my screen again. There we go. I love when it has little glitches. There you go.
Dolores is the one who helped me get clear on activate your greatness. She was able to see, in helping me with my TED Talk, she was able to see the real essence of what I do. And I'm incredibly grateful. Thank you, Dolores.
Many times, it's amazing what happens when in the work that we do in clarifying your idea we're sharing. And I always say, you know, I had a speaker who said to me once, you know what, even if you're never going to land a TEDx stage, preparing for one, writing your TED Talk completely shifts your business because it allows you to get really clear on the essence of the work that you do. So whether you're ever going to be in a TEDx stage or not, do the work to clarify your idea we're sharing. So let me just move on to the next slide if I can. And I might have to do this first. Stop the share. And back to the share. There we go. So, are you ready? This program is not for everyone. This program is only for those people who are ready to take their message to the next level. This program is for people who want to land a TEDx stage in the next 12 months. This program is also for people who have published or are about to publish a book and want to start promoting their message. And it's a program for people who are ready to have fun, play big, challenge themselves, and be committed to the idea, even if in doing so, they get a little bit uncomfortable. This program is for those who are not afraid to dig deep and explore within, who are ready to learn and be vulnerable on stage. And it is for those who are courageous enough to take action and begin the next stage of growth. If this is you, then welcome. So this program is typically $797. It's a group program. For anybody interested in working privately with me, I will mention that program in 1 minute. But for now, this program is typically $797. But I'm offering it to you right now as a participant of this webinar for $397. Why? Because I can't wait for you to have the time, the money, the confidence, the this or the that. I need you to spread your message now for the benefit of all of us. So you might be asking, how do we accomplish so much in so little time? The program is designed to be completed in as little as 8 weeks, but I support you in the process for a whole 3 months, 90 days, 12 weeks. Imagine, in less than 90 days, you can start applying to speak at TEDx events around the world. Here are some of the hows and the features of this program. In this program, we will meet together as a group 6 times, 6 group coachings with me, so that you can be supported and mastermind with fellow speakers, learning from each other and getting coaching from me on live Q&A calls. We have a private online group where we can bounce back ideas and thoughts and our talks. We have 8 program models. Actually, there's some bonuses there as well. They'll walk you through the process of clarifying, crafting, finding and pitching to speak at TEDx events around the world. As a bonus, the first 5 participants that sign up to work with me during this webinar will get a private 30-minute call with me where I can extract from you your idea we're sharing. Sometimes it's very difficult to come up with that clarity for ourselves. Sometimes we need someone to hold a mirror in front of us and help us extract that from within us. The bonus number 2 is that beyond the talk, how will you take your talk viral? Like my client, Dr. O'Keefe, his talk went viral very, very quickly. And within 3 months of his talk going on the internet, he had been watched over 500,000 times. Bonus number 3, you can email me your script and I will help you. I'll be walking right along with you in preparation for your application. You can also get an invitation, a discounted invitation to my quarterly live events where I do clarity days and where people come from all over the country and all over the world to spend the day to clarify their ideas and then build the strategies and action plans they need to move their businesses forward. So this is the time. If it's not now, then when? And if it's not you, then who? You now decide to move forward with this dream of yours. There is actually nothing to lose. My program is 100% guaranteed. If I'm not adding value to you, then please email me within the first week of the program. I'll refund your investment. There is nothing to lose except the opportunity to save $500 and make this dream come $400 and make this dream come true for you right now, for your business, your idea, and the work that you are called to do. This program begins right away. It's open enrollment. And the group calls are on the first and third Thursday of the month at 2:00 New York time, Eastern time. Now, click on the link right here on the chat and on your panel and commit to sharing your idea with the world. Commit to working with me in getting your idea into a TEDx stage in the next 90 days. Now, I promised to tell you a little bit about what working privately with me looks like. Working privately with me includes all of the features of this program. So 6 group coaching sessions, plus the modules, plus online support through the Facebook group. But on top of that, you also get 6 private sessions, one-on-one with me, where we are working together in crafting your talk and your pitch. That program, the investment for that program is $2,500, and I only take 2 clients on that program at a time. So that is a very, very limited resource. But if you are convinced that working with me will move you even faster and forward, then just simply send me a note, or I'm posting here the link to my private program. You can go ahead and purchase it as well. Now, let's open to Q&A. Here are some questions that have already been coming into the system. Question that I always get: I have a great story. Is that a good talk? Okay, so here's the thing. Stories are great tools to share an idea. So a story typically is something that we tell about an experience that we've had. It's really a conversation about our personal experience. Now, these can be very, very powerful when trying to convey an idea. The problem is that when we have only a story, but we're not clear on the idea or the lesson behind that story, then the audience listens to your story, and many times they can be mesmerized by it or inspired by it. But if you don't extract the meaning of the story for them, then it's very, very hard for the audience to walk away with something tangible that they can apply in their lives. So stories, again, are not talks. They are the tools we use to make our ideas, bring our ideas forward. Here's another question I always get. How different does my idea need to be? We talked a little bit about this. Your idea is probably not very different because there's no such thing as unique ideas anymore. But what you need to bring is your unique experience. Now here again, weave it into the story. Your unique stories allow you to bring this idea to light and bring it in a way that resonates with your audience. question that I get a lot of times is, how long does a TEDx or a TED Talk need to be? You cannot have a talk be longer than 18 minutes, but that doesn't mean a talk cannot be 5 minutes or 12 minutes. It doesn't have to be exactly 18. It just has to be less than 18. Typically, my clients prepare their talks to be 15 to 16 minutes so that they have enough wiggle room or room so that their talks, no matter what, will end up being less than 18 minutes. Can I apply to a TEDx around the world? Yes, absolutely. Again, the strategy to look local is that if you are connected with organizers in your community, is an easier way to access a stage because you can actually reach them directly. But there's no reason you can't apply to speak in TEDx's anywhere in the world. I have had a client from Kansas who ended up speaking in a TEDx in Ireland just because he wanted to apply there because he happened to be in Europe that time of year and it made sense for him. How aligned does my topic need to be with the theme? It has to align. Now, here's the thing with the themes. The themes are fairly broad. They are typically umbrella themes. So it's not hard for most talks to align with the theme. So make it align, but don't force it. Do all events have themes? Not, some events don't. Most established events actually do. So that's one way to differentiate an event that has a lot of experience producing the event, and that is an event that will probably get you a great audience and a great video after it. What is the timeline for applying to speak at an event? Typically, you want to be looking at events right now that will happen 3 to 6 months from now, because you want to apply to an event that has an application process that closes about 2 months before the actual event, so that means that the event is serious and that they're doing the work to produce a high quality event, and that they will use those 2 months prior to the event to prepare the speakers for the stage. How do I find about upcoming events? You can go to TED.com and find events there. In our program, that's one of the things that we teach you, because to be honest, it's very hard to find the events and to find the application, the speaker application links. Let me just stop the share. There we go. Should I apply or should I be nominated? That's a question I get all the time. Here's the thing. If an event is looking for nominations only, then find a colleague or a friend or a client that will help you speak for yourself. Many times you have to give them a little bit of guidance and tell them a little bit what you're going to be talking about. If you have a connection, someone that you know that is connected with the organizing team, then that's another resource that you can definitely use, because as a curator myself, sometimes I get colleagues or friends or people in the community that say, you should definitely look at this speaker because I think they have a valuable idea to share. So absolutely, if you have a connection that is connected with an organizing team, then you're better off being nominated by that person. How much of my talk does it need to be written before I apply to speak? Here's the thing. Don't write a talk unless you have a clear idea worth sharing. And once you do that, then by all means apply. And as you apply, start writing your talk. It doesn't have to be 100% written before you apply, but you do have to be clear in your idea. Do all the TEDx videos, TEDx talks need to be videotaped? Yes. As a license holder, I'm required to videotape all the speakers that I put on my stage. So yes, you will get a video, and you can use that video on your website and things like that. That's a lot of the reasons why people do it. What is the difference between TED and TEDx? TED is a main organization. They put 2 or 3 official events around the world every year. TEDx's are licenses that are held by independent organizers like me and other people around the world. And we have permission from TED to run that event, but we don't belong to the organization. And last, question I'm going to answer right now, and if I didn't get your question, then just post it in the chat. What are the benefits of speaking at TEDx? There's a couple of benefits of speaking at a TEDx event. Number one is getting your message to a larger audience. Number two, having a TEDx video on your website or your presentation as a calling card, it raises your credibility. It shows to the world that, and platform like TEDx has recognized your ideas as an idea that is worth sharing and that is worth spreading. Many of my speakers, after delivering their TEDx's, they have gone on to being keynote speakers at different events, and they've been able to grow their business. You've probably have watched the talks from Simon Sinek, from Brené Brown, from Susan Cain, and they all have gained a lot of visibility and credibility because of their experience as TEDx speakers. So with that, I'm ending my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a little bit more than 30 minutes, but I hope it was packed with what you need to move forward. If you've already made the decision to work with me, either in the group program or in the private program, I cannot wait to meet you, and I cannot wait to hear about your idea worth sharing. Until then, I'm saying goodbye, and I hope to see you soon.